This is the noob, and this video is gonna be a video on building RCBasic from source. So I am on a shadow, like one of the shadow cloud PCs right now because I wanted to have a fresh install of Windows with no previous software installed, so that you we could go through this whole thing installing every piece of software we'll need from scratch. Um, Before I get started, um, I'm gonna go ahead and say that we are. I do not think most people like subscribe to this channel even want to watch this video. So this isn't a video for everybody. This is just a video for people who wanted to build RCBasic from source. Maybe you wanted to fork it. Maybe you wanted to contribute. Maybe you just wanted to build it from source code because you're bored. Any of those reasons like is valid. It's RCBasic's completely open source. It uses nothing but open source libraries. So let's go and get started. And this is a fresh install of Windows. So I am going to go ahead and set up a folder real quick where we're going to be putting a lot of our dev libraries and stuff at. So I'm going to put it in a C drive. I'm going to call this dev. And we'll have that open because we're going to be doing building it inside of this folder. And now let's go and get all the software we're going to need before we get started. So start without. Unfortunately, since this is a fresh install of Windows, I'm going to be dealing with Edge for this, at least until it frustrates me to the point where I go install a different browser. But for now, we'll deal with Edge. We need to install a few different software. So we're going to start by installing Git. And actually, I'm just going to download all of them together so I can get all this out of the way. So Git will need CMake. And for CMake, specifically, if possible, we want the 3.1.2, which should be still, yeah, the 3.31.12 this. New, newer versions of CMake should technically be backward compatible, but I've had issues with it in the past. So let's just go with this because I know this works. So Git CMake, we need code blocks. Right. And we are going to just download the code blocks that just comes with the IDE. We don't need MinGW because we're going to download a separate MinGW build. So yeah, this first one, code blocks setup, that should be what we need. I'm gonna use the SourceForge portal, or I guess mirror, whatever it's called. All right, and we need MinGW64 pre-built tool chains. I'm on the that was on Bing, but if you go to the website, you go to downloads and just go to pre-built tool chains. And this is as of 2026. A lot of this could change if you're watching this a year or two from now. I'm gonna go with MinGW-W64-builds, and it has a link here to GitHub. Let's just go and go to that, and we can go with the latest version. So this we need a 32-bit version and a 64-bit version because we're gonna set it up to build RCBasic for 32-bit and 64-bit Windows. So we're gonna go with the UCRT-RT. We want POSIX though, so this one POSIX, UCRT, and RT. Let's make sure that both of those, all three of those are in the name. We don't necessarily care that much about the RT, but the UCRT and the POSIX, that's important. So let's go ahead and get that for 32-bit, and then we'll go ahead and get it for 64-bit. We're going to go with POSIX SEH UCRT. Um, SEH stands for like something exception. Like the S doesn't stand for something. I don't remember what it stands for, but it's just how it handles exceptions and stuff. Not really that important. So we have our 32-bit, 64-bit versions of MinGW. I think that's everything we need for now. So let's go ahead and install this software first. And I may do some editing, but I'm probably not gonna edit it because I want you to see the entire build like process go out and stuff. So, but if some of these installs take a while, I'll edit that out. What happened to Git? Did I download that? Or did I already install it, not realize it? No, I didn't. Um, Let me go back and download Git. Install for Windows. Click here to download. Alright, so let's start by installing Git. It doesn't matter what order you install these in, just make sure they're all installed. And when installing Git, um, if you've never installed Git before, when you get to an option, I'm going to leave everything default until I get to this where it says configuring the line ending conversions. Go to the third option, just check out as is, commit as is. To explain that, on Windows, the line endings by default are carriage return and line feed. Like both of those characters are at the end of every line in a Windows text document. But on Linux, it'll be like a line feed. Like no, yeah, line feed is the like last character at the end of a line. And then I think on some systems, like I think Mac OS, maybe I think carriage return might be the last character. I don't know too much about other systems, so I could be wrong about that. But we don't want Git to mess with the end of the line, so that's why we're setting that. And everything else can stay default. If you have some reason to change any of those other settings, go ahead and change those. I just don't have a particular reason to, so I just left the default. Um, once, oh, we're gonna need I just realized to be able to extract the MinGW stuff, we're also gonna need 7-zip. Um, all right, and I don't need to see the release notes. Let's go ahead and install 7-zip next. And I will also mention, as of right now, I don't plan on making this video for Linux. I chose Windows because it's the system most people have, but if you know how C++ works, Linux is actually easier to build for than Windows. So let's go and install CMake next. Yes, we do want it in the path environment variable. Right. And also, I'm going to be probably making some mistakes throughout this process because I haven't actually set up this build environment in a long time. I have the computer I've been building on. I set up years ago, and I haven't touched the actual setup since then. I just, pull down like I work on it mainly on Linux. I'll pull down the source code on Windows, build it, and then add it to the release. So this is going to be something I haven't done in years myself. So we have 7-zip git cmake. Let's go ahead and install code blocks. And for code blocks, I think we can leave everything default. Don't need to change anything. No. And then for these two, let's go ahead and actually we can go ahead and just move both of these into the dev folder, and then we'll extract them here. So show more and extract. And extract this one as well. All right. And I'm just gonna go in here, make sure these are the right ones. So like you want to make sure that G++ and GCC and stuff are in here. Sometime like I've downloaded some versions of MinGW where it's just the source code, and like nobody is trying to build MinGW unless you're like a kernel developer or something. So um, I say that, but we're actually about to start building the RCBasic compiler from scratch. So uh, like let's rename this. Actually, we can keep it this. Nah, I like shorter names, so I'm gonna rename this folder MinGW32, and I'll rename this folder MinGW64, just because I like shorter folder names. It's actually helpful to have shorter folder names on Windows because I think it has a default like directory size limit or whatever. So we have our different compiler tool chains set up. So we need to do something with code blocks real quick. So we're gonna make a MinGW32 and a MinGW64 compiler in code blocks that links to these. Yes, I'm gonna associate with C and C++ files. And and once you have code blocks open, go up to settings and go to compiler. And inside of compiler, it probably starts out by default on GNU GCC compiler, which is what we want. So just copy that, and we're gonna name this first copy MinGW32. All right. And then once that's been made, go to the toolchain executables tab, and it's looking in the CMinGW folder now. Let's switch this to the MinGW folder, but make sure it's the inside the MinGW. Make sure you go to where the bin and the lib and include folders are. It needs to be in this directory, and then select that folder. And now we are going to copy this again. Uh, yes, we do want to save this, and we'll call this copy MinGW64. And these names are important. Make sure you're naming it exactly what I am, because the RC Irrlicht repo is going to be looking for these compiler names when the script pulls it down and tries to build it and stuff. So okay and okay, and then we're going to do the same thing again here for the 64-bit version. Make sure we're in the folder that has the bin and lib folders and stuff, and select that and okay. Uh, Find compiler executable in your search path for GNU GC. This error down there, I mean, we don't care about the GNU GCC when we're going to be using the MinGW 32 and 64. Um, so let's close this. We got everything we needed to do. I guess yes, save perspective. So now we can go and start cloning our repo. Let's go to the RCBasic repo, which is going to be at github.com/n00b for noob87, and go to the RCBasic4 repo. And let's go here and copy the repo path. Now right click and open up a git bash terminal here, and I'm gonna zoom in any chance I can zoom in I will, but like in some cases I won't be able to. So git clone, and then let's paste the repo path to the repo. And I'll try to make sure to include all these links in the description as well, so that you can reference them there. So pull that down. And there is still a few more things we need to do before we start building. So let's go into environment variables, and we need to set 3 environment variables. Yeah, 3. So the first one is an environment variable to our code blocks directory, and it's just going to be code blocks underscore dir, and the path, just look for your code blocks directory where it's installed at, which should be in program files and code blocks. So yeah, this folder. Okay, and make a variable called mingw32, and this is going to be pointed to where we have the mingw32 where the bin and where all these folders are. So let's just copy that. I'm saying to make sure that you have these folders in there because I know in some systems it may not extract to upper level folder, but just extract to where these are in there. So paste that, and okay. And now we're going to make a min GW64, and I mean, you can probably guess where this is going. Alright, and okay, and okay. Okay, so now we are done with all of our setup. The next thing we need to do is just start building. So I'm going to open up a command prompt in this folder, and I'm going to run this batch file here. I want to run it from within the command prompt so it doesn't immediately close once the script's done running. So this script is RCBasic underscore dev setup.bat, and let's start running it, and it'll pull down like all of the dependency libraries we need, and it'll build the libraries that are pulled down as source as well. So uh, this will just start the build process, and this will take a while. So I'm going to put down my headset, and I will be back when this is done. But I will leave this on. I'm not going to edit it out so you can see the whole thing go. So I'll be back. All right, I am back. Um, it seems like the code blocks if code blocks is not recognized, that just means the code blocks dir, which I may have messed up on the name for that. Code blocks dir. Oh, no, no, it should have worked. If um if you're getting stuff like that where it says code blocks is not recognized, um, code blocks that those code blocks things are only really used for building RC Irrlicht, but you can do it manually yourself. So inside this RC Irrlicht folder, go into source Irrlicht and then scroll down. I think it's called Irrlicht GCC. It's the code blocks project. Yeah, this. Just open this up and we want to build two of the targets. So first target we want to build is the Win32 release accurate math DLL. So select that and then build. I don't think this takes that long to build, but I could be wrong. And actually, you know what? I'm pretty sure we were supposed to build the 64 bit first and then the 32 because I think the 32-bit, the 64-bit overrides the 32. Well, we'll find out. If anything, we can just build it again. All right, that's the 32-bit build. And now the release 64 accurate math at the bottom. That's the 64-bit build. So let's go ahead and build that. If we get any longer builds than these, then I will. No, I still won't edit it. Um, I think it's important for you to see, like my troubleshooting process too. Like I said, the messing up on that code blocks thing. I mean, it's something I imagine if it happened to me, it happened to others. So with that, let's just check real quick. So, inside of this lib folder and the RC Erlich folder, um, check the, we just finished the Win64. So you should see the .a and the .dll files in there. And we should see it in the 32-bit folder as well, but we don't see the DLL file in here. So that makes me think we need to build the 32-bit again. So let's go ahead and do that. And build. Yeah. Once you've built all the object files, it doesn't have to recompile the object file. So um, we have our we have our 64-bit DLL. Where's our 32-bit? It could be in this bin folder. Yeah, so there's our 30-bit 2-bit DLL. So we have both our DLL files. We'll go and get those later. And after that, uh, I could have probably just left code blocks open, but yeah. After that, let's go into RCBasic 4, and we'll start with building the compiler. So look for this RCBasic underscore build underscore win code blocks project and open that. And let's go ahead and we're gonna do make another change in here. So for this default compiler, let's set it to our point it to our MinGW64. We're gonna set it like to this folder as well, and okay. And now we should just be able to select target release 64. I don't ever build for the 32-bit version for the compiler anymore because Windows is just 64-bit basically now. So we build the 64-bit binary to support older versions of Windows, or but newer versions, current versions of Windows don't support it. So we're just going to build the 64-bit version of the compiler. So hit build, and this should just work. Only well, it should, but it's not. Reference to byte. Um, uh, let's see. I think we need because we're gonna. I know we need to do this for the runtime also. Um, I think we need to set this to C++11, and that should fix it. Because everything is based off of the C++11 stuff. I hope that fixes it. Let's see. Uh, well, did that work? Um, as I've mentioned before, I have the Windows machine I build on for each release has been set up for years, and I have no intention on ever touching it. It'll probably be set up the exact same way 10 years from now, and I still won't be touching it. So that's the compiler built, and so we should be able to see a bin folder and then release 64, and then that's the compiler. And let's go ahead and make a new folder. Actually, yeah, so I'm going to make a new folder where I'm just going to put all of the binaries after we build them. So, uh, yeah, I'll put in div. Make a new folder called basic release. And we'll just drag the binary over. And this is called RCBasic build. But for RCBasic 4, I rename all of these to RCBasic like build 4 and then RCBasic 4. So I'm going to do that here as well. Next, let's go into the RCBasic runtime project, and this is where we're going to have to make a few changes. But first, let's just go ahead and try to build it normally. So RCBasic underscore runtime win. Look for that project in the RCBasic runtime folder. Um, Before we do anything with this, let's go into the project real quick. Build options, and we're using MinGW 32 and 64. Make sure for 32 and 64 that you have this set to C++11. And hit OK on that. And then we're going to attempt to build this and go through whatever errors comes up and fix them one by one. I actually, before we do that though, there's one thing I know we need to, actually, no we don't, because I have macros that do that. So let's go ahead and build. I'm going to start by building the 64-bit, so since that was already selected. But once you build 64, 32 should build automatically as well. So let's build. And I'm expecting this to fail, but I just want to see where each failure is. So the first one is Steam. Um, I I have some built-in functions in RCBasic for using the Steamworks API for things like adding achievements to your game on Steam and stuff. That's built into RCBasic, but you need to have the Steamworks API downloaded and set up in order to be able to build with these functions. But um, let's go on. Is it in here? I'm just going to remove those functions. And then we don't have to worry about having the Steamworks API. But yeah, I don't have that stuff added to the project. So let's go ahead and add those files to the project. Anything that says RCBasic underscore Steam, or I think it's just called RC underscore Steam. So these files, Steam and Steam lib. Right, and now go to Steam lib. Inside of here, RC desktop is like this variable is defined if we're building for Windows, Linux, or Mac OS. And if the variable is not defined, it'll just use these empty functions here. So we're just going to, I'm just going to put in some random undefined variable. So undefined variable. You can call this something that hasn't been defined, basically. And so that should get rid of it trying to, and this is an RC underscore Steam underscore lib dot h, by the way. I don't know, I didn't make that clear, but, and also let me zoom this in so you can see. I called it, I just said if defined undefined variable, because I know that's not a defined variable. And let's go ahead and try to build that. I'm also getting some lag with this this Shadow PC, so that's probably why like I'm having to click multiple times to try to open stuff. So let's go and build, and normally it won't keep going. It's still trying to build even though it didn't find this. It should have never even included this though, so. Yep. So we have this, which should have been all we needed, but let's go ahead. The easy fix for this file is just to get rid of this entire file. Uh, That'll fix that. So I just deleted everything in rc underscore steam.h. Um, oh, you know what though? We don't even need to do that. The reason why that happened is because I added the the C++ file. So this file here, if you added rc underscore steam.cpp to the project, remove it, and that should fix that issue. This is just removing those Steam functions. It's not gonna affect anything else. This right here, if you're seeing like use of deleted function and all this other nonsense, that probably means that make with this project selected, go to project, go to build options, and make sure C++11 is selected. Yeah, and yes. I probably had the RCBasic underscore build project selected last time, so that was my bad. So let's select it for both the release and release 64 targets. Make sure C++11 selected and OK that. And that should fix that issue. I can't imagine there be any other issues. I was expecting the Steam issue, so I wasn't surprised by that. I'll honestly, I'm not gonna update the project to remove Steam because like I do have the Steamworks API, but you have to be a registered Steam developer to get access to it. So that's the reason why I'm not showing how to do that here. But if you have access to the Steamworks API and you want to set that stuff up, you can build it with all the functions. All right. Undefined reference. Undefined reference either means a missing dash L, like in the linker settings, but in this case, these files are added directly to the source code. So this I compound shape, it's supposed to be in Irrlicht, and yeah, compound shape isn't here. So let's go and find that CPP file and add it. So select project, go to add files, go back to the dev folder and go into Irrlicht source and look for that compound shape file, Irrlicht compound shape.cpp. We want the CPP file and not the header file. You can add the header file, it's optional, but you need the CPP file. And uh, I'm also seeing this error here, this C shader get material. To fix that error, we also need to add the C shader. Where is it? So C shader. I'm gonna add both of them. C shader.cpp and C shader.h. Let's go ahead and add that, and that should fix both the C shader errors and the I compound shape error. So let's go ahead and build that again. Projective textures. That looks like it's the last error. So um, we just need to add projected. I think it's called projected textures or whatever. Um, yeah, these files. So projective textures. Let's go ahead and add both of those files. And OK. All right, there we go. And let's go ahead and build this again. Oh, sweet. So we just built the RCBasic runtime. And that's the 64-bit the 32-bit, if you fix the 64-bit stuff, it automatically fixes the 32-bit stuff as well. So we should just be able to build 32-bit now as well. Uh, or maybe I should. So I have. Uh, it should be built. I don't. So inside of here, let's go to the bin folder. Oh. Yeah. So. Uh, let's go to. We built the 64-bit basically, and the 64-bit build is like the entire build, I think. So, and project, go if you go to project and go to properties, and then go over to build target. Select release and release 64, and you see that these are going to the same folder. Uh, I don't normally do that. Normally, I'll have a separate output for 64 and 32. I guess I didn't do it before making this project though. So on the 64, change this release to release 64, and then down here, change the object output folder to release 64 as well. Hit OK. And then I'm just going to clean S and build the 64 again. That way the 32-bit and the 64-bit builds don't mess with each other. Um, I don't even know how really useful this video would be for anybody even wanting to build at this point, because I mean, everybody just uses AI these days, and I don't personally use AI. Never. I'm kind of like super old school and kind of out of touch. So I still do everything like the manual way. So I don't even know if AI could just build everything for you or not. I actually don't know how the AI tools work. Uh, so let's go to 32-bit, and we'll clean that, and we'll build that as well. And then after that, that is it. That's RCBasic built. Like RCBasic, and I didn't build the IDE, and I didn't build Nirvana or Serenity in this video, because those are entirely separate build processes and stuff. Um, but RCBasic at its core is just a compiler and a runtime. Uh, you could actually, you don't even have to use Studio. I used to ship RCBasic with Genie. Um, and Nirvana and Serenity are also optional. You can build your own editors. You can use existing editors. You're free to do whatever you want. So all right. Once this is done building, we have all of our stuff built. Um, and now we have the RCBasic 4 build. Let's go and add the 64-bit release to that as well. I'm gonna rename this to RCBasic RCBasic 4 and put that in there as well. And then I'm also gonna go and get all of the DLLs we need as well. So let's start with the DLLs we need from MinGW. So let's go to MinGW 64 folder and go to bin. There's some DLLs in this folder we need to include, like this, the libstd, C++, the WinThread, this GCC underscore SCH, and yeah, so let's just copy those. Pretty sure that's all we need. And paste. Now we also need the box2d DLL. Or actually, I think box2d is static. Yeah, I think box2d is just a static. Um, Basically, it doesn't need DLL. I'm pretty sure bullet does though. So let's go to bullet lib. Where are the DLLs for bullet? Uh, I'm guessing bullet was static as well. If it doesn't have the DLLs, generally that means it's like like a static library and it doesn't need them. So let's get SDL. I know SDL has it. So bin and copy the SDL DLL. And we'll find out very quickly if we needed the DLLs for the other stuff. So let's get the other SDL libraries. Like we need image. Mixer. And on my actual Windows machine, I have scripts that, will go and automatically copy all of these files. But this is a new cloud machine spun up just for this video. So, yeah. Theora is. I feel like Theora would have it. I don't know. What's it? There we go. The Theora deck. And there are two Theora folders, one for the 32 and one for the 64-bit build. That was just to keep those builds separate. The script that pulls everything down does that. And then if you go into OGG and Vorbis, you should see these build 64 folders. Where there is the actual .a file that's linked. But I don't think we actually need the OGG or the Vorbis DLLs. OGG and Vorbis are mainly used for Theora. They're not really like used directly by themselves. So oh yeah, we need Irrlicht. So this is the 64-bit. The lib should be in here. And copy, paste. I think that's everything, and we can test this with, well, first of all, let's just make sure that we can do this. So RCBasic underscore build for.exe and then dash dash version, and we can see the version. Now we should be able to do the same thing for the runtime as well. Yep, and we see the latest version, which means we have enough to be able to at least initialize. And to do one more final test, let's make a RCBasic program and compile it. So main, oh wait. So on Linux, you can just change the name of uh, the uh, the extension, but you can't do that on Windows. So I know on Windows you can do this though. So like, um, I'm gonna make a simple open window, uh, and I am going to pull up the documentation because uh, I don't remember all the arguments in open window off the top of my head. Uh, what's going on? Did I type that right? .com. Alright, there's some stuff going on with the RCBasic website, I guess. Let's just go to the forum. So rcbasic.freeforums.net. I'll check on the website after this as well. But where is it? Manual. Here we go. What is going on? Like Google? Does Google work right now? I'm not sure what's going on with RCBasic or the forum right now. Oh, the manual is, yeah, so the manual is, you know what? Just to do a test, all I need to do is this, print hello world. I was going to try to open up a graphics program, but I don't need to worry about that right now. And let's save this as test.bas and quotation marks. That should override the file extension. And close that, delete main. And now I should be able to drag it over the RCBasic build and it should get this CBC file. And I should be able to drag this CBC file over this. Well, I'm gonna run it through the command prompt though, so that it'll stay open. RCBasic for test.cbc. Yeah, and LOL. So that is it. That was building RCBasic from source. I'm gonna leave everything in as far as all the long build times and stuff, just so you can see the entire process go through. But I'll include timestamps in the description for if you want to skip around. And that is it for this video. I will see you in the next one.